I got an email from a viewer this morning, and it troubles me. This viewer said they were 22 years old, had never finished school, wanted to learn web design, and wanted to know if they could learn. And the question is kind of troubling because I believe we can all learn. What we need is motivation, and that comes from studying something that we are interested in. So if your passion is website design or computer programming or photography or playing the guitar or medicine, law, what have you, pursue that interest. Don't let anyone discourage you. If you've got the desire, you can do it. Don't ever give up. That said, let's take a look at the cascading style sheet tutorial at W3 Schools, and I'm on the box model page. And I want to point out this diagram right here. This box model basically deals with a series of boxes that you draw around your content. So the content is at the center of the diagram. Whether it's a paragraph or an image, whatever, your content is there. Then the padding is added white space that you would build around that content. Now, you might also want to add some border around that content. Now, you can size the border and the padding and even the margin as much as you want. But with the border, you can also change the color, which is kind of neat. And there's different styles of borders. Now, the margin is that additional space beyond your border that you can use to further separate your content from anything else that happens to be in the browser window. Okay, so what I did was I went back to the table that we built for the trip, and I played with these factors. And this podcast will cover not just the box model, but border, outlines, margin, and padding. There's a little bit of it all in this table. So let's go to Text Wrangler and look at the style sheet. And I just want to focus in on the changes that I made to the style sheet. Okay. Now, everything's the same up to the padding. I said to give me 50 pixels of padding. Now that padding if we go back to the box model diagram, is the area right around my content. So you can see around my content there is always some space. That's my padding. Now, when I set the padding, it doesn't mean it's going to be exactly 50 pixels. For instance, the space, if you take a look at this first line, and the city, there's much more space to the right of the city than to the left. But this is a minimum standard. That's the minimum amount of size of white space that I want around my content. Okay, now the border. I set the border to be 5 pixels wide and red and of dashed style. And so we've got this red and white border all the way around. Now let's change it to say 25 and refresh. Okay, big difference. Let's take it to 2 pixels. Save, refresh, and you can, it's there, but you can barely see it. I'm going to take it back up to 5. Now let's change its color from red to blue. Or we could do pink. Okay, well the pink gets kind of lost there. So let's go back to red. And then rather than dashed, let's try solid. Okay. Then I came down and I said for my margins, and I specified each one individually. So I've got a margin top of 100 pixels. That's this area, this white space above my blue line. We'll talk about that blue line in a minute. I've also got a bottom margin, a bottom margin of 100 pixels, a right margin of 50 pixels, and a left margin of 50 pixels. Okay? Now my outline style. This is the blue lines around the periphery of my table. I've said the outline style should be double. The outline color, navy for navy blue, and the outline width, 10 pixels. And that gives me that double line. Now I'm going to come back and change my border to yellow, which I think will make that show up just a little better. And let's go dashed. Okay. So that way there's more contrast between the yellow, and I think now you can see both of those blue lines. So you can make your objects, your content, more attractive by following the box model. Give it a try. I think you're going to enjoy it.